What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the stats that got me into Harvard. I just want to start the video by saying, I'm like extremely blessed. Lots of hard work in this like whole application process, but I kind of wanted to like give some insight as to like what a normal applicant might be. But like with that being said, my stats are not your stats, and just because I got in with this doesn't mean that you'll get in with this. But this is just for some insight. So I'll go over like the back. I have like it on my phone. I'll go over like the background. So my school, I graduated from Dundee Crown High School. It's like a public school in northwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Nothing special. Like, it's a pretty cool school, but it's not like a feeder or a private school or anything crazy like that. Just regular run-of-the-mill public school. I ranked in the top 1%. I think I was 5 out of 600, but our school technically didn't do rank, so I'd have to like ask my counselor like every semester, hey, what's my rank? But I was like, I think 5 out of the 600. For context, my school's mean SAT score is 886. So it's definitely far from the mean of the applicants to schools like Harvard or different types of Ivies. So I kind of like put that in mind. But luckily I like scored way above my school's mean. I had a 1430 SAT score. It was a 710 math and 720 reading. Like, those were two separate score dates. And I know, surprising, that's not the perfect 1600 you've probably been hearing for a bunch, but my mindset going into like the college application process was like, okay, like this 1430, like this is my score, and like if a school like rejects me like solely based on this score, then maybe that's not a school that I'd want to go to. Not saying you should do that, because I know like it's not really test optional anymore. Like, I didn't go test optional. I was proud of my score, but not saying you should go that approach. You should probably try studying for the SAT, because it matters. But that's just how it worked out for me. More stats about like my school are, so like 60% of my school's low income, so that's one thing. And then only 50% of my school's high school graduates go on to either like a 4-year program or 2-year program or just any type of schooling afterwards. So like only like 50% like go to higher education. So my school is definitely like, I'm blessed for all my teachers and all the people that surrounded me during my like academic career for high school. However, it's definitely not like the best deck of cards if you want to apply to Ivies. But with that being said, you can use that background to get you into schools like Harvard, which I'll talk about later. But then there goes my stats. So my stats, I had a unweighted 4.0 GPA out of 4, and then a weighted 6.01. 6.01! It's crazy! It is pretty crazy, but like our school kind of did our weighted GPAs kind of wonky. It's like on a 6.5 scale. APs are worth 6.5, so that's why it's 6.01. But yeah, like I don't know. I had 8 honors classes, 8 AP classes, and so for those 8 AP classes, I took 1 my freshman year, that was AP Hug, I got a 5. I took 2 my sophomore year, that was AP US Government and AP Psychology. I got a 5 on Government, got a 4 on Psychology. In my junior year, I took AP Seminar, I took AP Macroeconomics, I took AP Statistics, and then I took, what was the 4th one? Oh yeah, AP Physics.
It was at this moment that he knew.
But we don't talk about that. I was not cooking on the physics test. I also had 2 dual enrollment classes. I had 1 dual enrollment English class and a dual enrollment history class, and like my high school partners with like our local community college to do dual enrollment. Some kids do full-time dual enrollment, so they get like their associate's degree afterwards. I didn't do that. I just took these 2 classes. But I'll go like into the clubs I was in. So this is the extracurricular portion, and I'm like kind of just going down off my list, like I said earlier. But the extracurriculars I put, I put student council. So I was on the executive board of student council, and basically like I was part of like the year that kind of like revamped student council as a whole, because we were coming back from COVID and we didn't even have like in real life like meetings or anything. Like it was all purely through Zoom. And so like I was like one of those like little freshmen that was like on the Zoom like, oh, we should do this, we should do this. And my favorite initiative that we did for student council was we did something called Presents for Perry. Our high school is right next to a elementary school, and basically like it's also a very low income elementary school, and we would donate presents to all the students during like the holiday season. And like someone would dress up as like Santa Claus, and like it was like it's a great experience, and it's great giving back to like the community and just like showing those children that someone out there is looking out for them. And I actually dressed up as Santa Claus this past year, so that was pretty funny. I might put up pictures. But yeah, student council was great because like we led a lot of school initiatives, planned like homecoming, prom, different things, different assemblies, and like, you know, pretty much like the backbone of like a lot of what goes on at school. So that was like the first ranked thing I did for my extracurriculars. Another extracurricular, I'm saying that word, another extracurricular, National Honor Society. I was president of National Honor Society, and you know, like that's basically a volunteer organization. And as president, like I would lead the meetings every month. I'd lead the meetings every month, and it was cool. Like it definitely improved my public speaking skills, because like even though I kind of have like a public speaking background with YouTube, like I had to like speak in front of like 200 kids every morning, and I was kind of like, but I got better, and it was pretty fun. And we like once again also did different like community initiatives, school-wide initiatives, basically a lot of like volunteer stuff, and just making a difference in like our community and our school by upholding like the NHS values that they have. But yeah, like that was pretty fire. I was president of that, so that's pretty cool. Another extracurricular was Psi Alpha. So Psi Alpha is like a psychology honor society, and I think it's like the high school chapter of like Psi Chi, which is like the college equivalent, but it's like relatively new. I think it's like 3 years old. But our one psychology teacher, like AB psychology teacher, she started it, and she started like a year or two ago, and I was like on it the first year, I think, or the second year. I kind of forgot. I don't know, it's been a while, but I was on it and when it first started, so I kind of like helped out, like just start everything, spread the word, tell everyone what we're doing. And it's honestly like, it was like a great club to be part of, because once again we also did a lot of community initiatives, a lot of things surrounding mental health, and I was on the executive board, so we planned it. We did like different psychology like themed field trips. It was like a lot of cool stuff. We did like different positive messages like throughout the school at some point. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this about student council. We also did this for Psi Alpha, but I had the idea for student council to have like a kindness wall, where like basically like everyone just put like post-it notes of like really kind things to say to make like the school community like positive during like the winter months, because it gets ugly outside. But for Psi Alpha, we did stuff like that too. We also had like a public speaker come in and talk about like mental illness, and it's a new club at our school, and it was great to like be part of the board to like start it and have it be like a actual club. And I'm really passionate about psychology, so it was like just great being in it. Then on here, track and field. I was on the leadership board of track and field. Like I was also like team captain. I also led the social media page for it, like the Instagram page. I would post like the almost meet days and stuff. It was honestly, track and field was great, because it kind of built me up from like a young freshman to like a adult, like a man. But it was great. Like it was a great developmental period. I did all 4 years of high school. I set a school record for the 4x1 my junior year, and that got broken last year. But it was great though. It was a great experience. I got to lead like my teammates through different types of like races, through different things, and it was just great sport, lots of fun, and I dedicated like a lot of time to the sport and to the program as a whole, and like I definitely like showed that through my application. But yeah, like it was pretty cool like being part of a track and field team. I also put work as an extracurricular, and like cause I work to like support like myself and like my family like during just high school in general, and I feel like that's important to put there because, you know, like you can be like, oh, I don't think that they need to know that, but definitely they do need to know that because that adds to depth of your application, I'd say. Like it shows who you are as a person and what you were doing as a high schooler. Like yes, you have all these academic things, extracurricular things, but you also were like working 30 hours a week on top of that, and they're like, oh wow, like they were responsible enough to have a job, do this, do that. Like this is someone we want at our institution that's going to make a difference in the world. And I basically like talked about that in my application. Like I put it as extracurricular. I worked at like a lot of different places through high school, like McDonald's, Walmart. I currently work at a country club and a steakhouse, which is pretty cool. I was also part of Girl Up. Girl Up is a feminist organization, and there were different like community initiatives. So like different volunteer opportunities, like promoting like gender equality in our school and just our community as a whole. I was part of it junior year and kind of senior. Like senior was kind of packed, so I didn't really have much time to go to the meetings and stuff. But junior, like they host like an annual volleyball tournament for like, since our school doesn't have a boys volleyball team, they host a boys volleyball fundraiser thing, and I was kind of like I spread the word to a lot of my guy friends because guys don't want to be in feminist organizations for some reason. But it was a cool club, and it was definitely like something that I enjoyed going to my junior year of high school. And I was also part of environmental club, and you know, like that's pretty self-explanatory. I was part of that junior year as well, and we did different things throughout the school, like planted trees during Earth Day, just spread the word about different environmental concerns. They were doing this thing for the Arboretum, but I kind of like had to like stop going because of track. Like that's also another thing. Don't spread yourself too thin. You want to make sure that like everything that you're doing to your fullest ability, and like if you are doing 20 things but like only giving 10% in each of those things, that doesn't look as good as if you only did 5 things but you're giving like 100% in all 5 of those things. But yeah, like they're doing this thing, like I think they called like Arboretum for our school, like basically like labeling all like the trees and stuff so it can be recognized and do something else with that, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I was part of that because, you know, I care about the environment and I like nature, so I was part of that club as well. And that's pretty much the clubs off the top of my head that were at least substantial that I put on the application. Oh yeah, extracurricular, I also put that I made music under Iyanu, like that's my music name and that's my actual name. But I put that, and you might be like, oh, but like I'm afraid to put it. If it's something that you're genuinely proud of, then definitely put it, because like the admissions officers, like they like to see like variety and different things like that, and like I would say that I'm a pretty creative person, and I definitely wanted them to know that, yeah, like this is something that like was a pet project of mine from like middle school, and I finally made a song and this and that. And you know, like you don't have to be famous on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're making stuff, like, but I feel like putting some form of creativity as one of your extracurriculars is definitely cool to see from the other end. Like, oh wow, this is something they did in addition to school and looking good for college, but they also like put all their hard work into it, and this is actually kind of decent. If your music's trash, don't put it, but I didn't think my music was trash, so I put it. I didn't put my YouTube channel, and you know, like I said this in the past video, but like I wasn't the proudest of my content at the time, and I didn't want an admissions officer to get the wrong idea of me through my content that I also was not really proud of. Like, yes, I had like a lot of subscribers, but I also like didn't really feel like it would have been the best thing to put on my application. I made African versions, and like that could be seen like either way depending on who's looking at it, and they might not get the humor because I was also like 13 making those videos. So I was like, you know what, let me not put that, you know. So if it's something that could like be looked at the wrong way, I would definitely advise against it, because you want to like put your like best foot forward, and you don't want them to see anything negative. like, I'm not saying be perfect, but like, you don't want them to be like, oh, this is odd, I don't find this funny, I don't find them funny, and then that's a bunch of negative thoughts about your application, and then decline bin. So don't do that if you're not proud of what you're making, but if you're proud of it, put it on your application as an extracurricular. Awards and honors. I had AP Scholar with distinction. That's basically, I think it's 4 or 3 APs, and you have to get like an average score of 3.5 or higher. I had a bunch of good AP scores, so that's that. The College Board National African American Recognition Award. That was basically I think that was during sophomore year, kind of, and if you score like the top 10% in like minority and underrepresented like communities and groups in like the PSAT, then you won this award. You also had to like apply for it, like write like a paragraph, I think, but that was pretty cool, getting it from College Board themselves. And then I was also named a Horatio Alger National Scholar my junior year, which was really exciting. I went on like a trip this year, and that was really fun. Met a lot of great people, met a lot of influential people as well. And it's like a pretty well-known scholarship, because it's like a scholarship, like the Horatio Alger Scholarship. It's a pretty well-known scholarship, and yeah, like it definitely looked good on my application, and I put it. And then I should have probably said this in the beginning of the video. I might cut it. All of these academics and stats were great, but what really made my application was my essays and my personal statement. And basically, so my personal statement, like the Common App has like the different questions. The question I chose, or the prompt I chose, was discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and new understanding of yourself or others. And basically, like, that was the strongest part of my application, because like the most important thing about applying to college and applying to Ivies and top schools is that you have a central theme of what's going on. So like my application kind of had like a theme of like basically just advocating for one, like mental health, and the story of who I am and how, despite like my circumstances, I still made the most of it. And basically that's what I wrote about in my personal statement. Like I used like a water bottle analogy. You can't use this, by the way, it's copyrighted. But basically, like, it was this TikTok I saw, and that's another thing. Like, don't be afraid to like use different ideas you see online that go viral. Like, don't copy essays, but this was like a viral TikTok thing that I saw. But basically it's like water costs water costs $4 at the airport, 50 cents at Walmart, blah 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 blah, but at the end of the day it's all the same water. And I use that analogy to show that no matter the location or no matter the life experiences or trauma that I've gone through, that I'm still worth the same, and I still like have a great potential. Like, my location does not determine my potential or my success. The same way a water's location doesn't determine if it's water or not water. Like, it's still water. Like, the water fountain at your school is still water, the same way the airport water that's overpriced is still water. And that's the same thing I said, that, you know, like, in this traumatic situation or this adversity that I went through, like, I was still a great student, still ambitious, still creative, still had a great personality. And even when I'm not going to be in that adversity, I'm still going to be a great student, great ambition, great personality. And I think I ate. But, you know, like, the results speak for themselves. But that was my personal statement. And you definitely want to have like a optimistic outlook on your personal statement if you've gone through things, because if you come from like a disadvantaged background, like, it's definitely like a key ticket to like talk about the adversities you've gone through. But you also don't want to make it just like a trauma dump. Like, yes, you want a trauma dump, but you also don't want to be like, I went through this, and I went through that, and I went through this, and I went through that, and I went through this, and I went through that, and I went through this, and I went through that, and I went through this, and I went through that. Like, you want to like actually say, I went through this, but it built me to become a great, perseverant person who is more than deserving of attending your institution, blah, 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 blah. And that's the overall vibe that I definitely like wrote in my personal statement. My other essays too, honestly, kind of ate. Like, I'll probably like put some of them like up on the screen. but I love talking about essays and writing, so if that's something you guys want to kind of like dive deep in, because I know like essays are a big part of the application process, like I can definitely make videos on that. I definitely want to make videos on that, so just say if that's something you want. But with that being said, that was pretty much the stats and extracurriculars and essays and awards and things that got me into Harvard. And I just want to say that like I wasn't a perfect student that had a 1600 SAT score. I didn't have a 1600, but with the resources that I was given through my school, I made the most out of those resources. And that's a big thing that you definitely want to do. Like, the colleges don't really, they do care about certain things, but they want to see that with what you were given, you made the most out of it. So, yeah, so if you're given a lot, like, make the most out of it, and if you're given a little, make the most out of it, and everything else will follow. Be proud of yourself for your accomplishments, and be perseverant, optimistic, and it will show through your application. Have a common theme, and that will also help your application as well. But I'll probably make more college content because I'm kind of like a poster boy for Harvard now, or at least I want to be. But yeah, that's what got me in Harvard. Peace.